Good evening. It's Mindful Monday. And as I sat in my garden and reflected on all the changes the past month is bringing to it, and how even when it seems nothing is going on, something is going on. And I asked the space, if you would, what would be important to talk about today? And the phrase, well, two of them came to mind. One is one from when I was growing up, and it was a phrase that was very common. He's a jack of all trades and a master of none. Meaning you could do a little bit of everything, but you were never an expert in anything. And then that activated a memory of my friend and teacher, Dan Brule, who talked about you can either make your learning a mile wide and an inch deep, or you can make it an inch wide and a mile deep. So each of us faces that choice every time we take a workshop, every time we sign up for a coaching session, every time we feel that we could be supported and grow even more with some really good mentoring. And sometimes when we make that choice and we sign up for the other class, when we sign up for additional mentoring, when we reach out for a coach to support us to grow in a particular area, we are really doing the inch wide and a mile deep. We are driving and focusing all of our energy and all of our attention towards mastery. Sometimes it's mastery of an outside thing, and sometimes it's mastery of an internal process. Whichever way, outside or inside, it's about mastery. And sometimes we find ourselves going from training to training, workshop to workshop, learning a little bit more about a new thing. But we never really apply the new thing. It becomes information that we put in our toolbox, and we move on. And in my life, I've been blessed to try on both suits. So I have been, in my life, the jack of all trades and the master of none. I knew a little bit about almost anything. I could do a little bit about almost anything. As a teenage girl, I could diagram the stick shift of a car. I could talk about things as diverse as politics and history and spiritualism and all the different parts of drilling for oil. Was I a master of any of those things? No. But I did learn a lot about the world I live in. And I feel that's useful. And for me, I found it gave me a lot of support as I began my life as an adult. And as time went on, I can remember making some really interesting life choices, such as being newly married and discovering transcendental meditation. And my husband was overseas and was going to be gone for like a year and a half. So I started doing transcendental meditation, and it was so life-changing that in the end I put it aside because I knew that if I continued, it would not only transform me in the now, it would change my entire life. It would change my relationship with my husband. It would change everything. And so I chose to put aside something that I knew was so important and significant, to hold on to the thing that I had begun to build for myself. And life goes on. I entered into fields of learning and professional roles in which I became the inch wide and a mile deep. So I became the expert at what I did. And to me, life, I've discovered, is neither or. That there is a place for being a mile wide and an inch deep. There is a place for having some understanding about a wide variety of things. And there is also a place and a time where one delves deeply, one focuses on mastery. And as I have continued to live my life, I have found that that focus on mastery has moved from the outside to the inside. And I have discovered never-ending opportunities to practice what I have learned, to especially apply forgiveness and gratitude to life experience. And I've recently had some fascinating conversations. One of them was with Brady, who's here. Hi. And we've been having a conversation, and he was asking me about what do I see as solutions. And I've been thinking about it. I've been writing notes about it. And I realized that one of the solutions for me is there is no one fix for any of the things that we see in the world or that we see in ourselves. It's not like I can do one thing and everything's going to change. Because when I do the one thing and things change, I discover something else. And so I kind of look at this journey as a never-ending one, of one that every life experience shows me a new opportunity to discover mastery, a new opportunity to be curious, a new opportunity to ask myself, so instead of focusing on what is not working, instead of focusing on either within myself or in the world, instead of focusing on that, on the problem, what can I do to transform that problem and move forward? So, Brady, I'm still thinking, and I have more notes, so I'll be getting back to you. And yes, Katerina, for me, that discovery of mastering from the inside out, it's not only been life-changing, I feel like it's unending. That like an onion that has layers, so do all of the nooks and crannies of my being. All the places, some of them are bright and brilliant and they shine. Others are more in the shadows. Some have not even revealed themselves to my awareness. And Grace, I love the beauty of your spirit. I really want to honor the gift that you bring all of us with music and sound and grace. So I decided today that the message was really about both things. It's about being a jack of all trades. Whether someone says, "Oh, you really love to cook," I said, "Yeah." Now, do I go out and study cooking? No. Do I enjoy it? Yes. I love gardening. Am I a master at it? No. However, it soothes my spirit. And so I invite all of us to really, Carlos Castaneda used to call it recapitulation, where you really look at your life, going back as far as you can remember, and look at those experiences, and look at them now with your grown-up eyes and your grown-up heart, and ask yourself, is the story I tell myself about those experiences still true? Is there something more I can learn from the experience? Because every time you ask that question, you give yourself another moment of mastery. And so I'm breathing into that possibility, that opportunity, that being, holding both spaces and flowing back and forth between them. How that allows me to lead a richer life, a fuller life, and also allows me to move farther along in my journey of self-mastery. And I am constantly humbled anytime I think that I've got it, that I have it mastered, that I've got it figured out, that I've released the trauma of childhood, that I've let go of the legacies of unfulfillment from ancestors. Every time I think I've got it, I will be offered an experience that activates those feelings once again. And I get to look at it again and to polish my mirror a little clearer, a little cleaner. And so I think how exciting it is to have a journey that has no end, to have a journey that is a one of constant discovery, and a journey that provides an opportunity for gratitude with every memory, with every experience. And when I gift myself with that, when I gift myself with seeing both the memories and the current experiences with gratitude, when I am curious enough to ask myself and to ask the space, what is the highest priority here? What is, solution is one word, but it isn't the only word. I almost like highest priority because sometimes the highest priority is not to resolve the experience. It's to allow the experience to continue as it is. And I want to thank all of you, Katerina and Grace and Brady, for asking questions and for taking the time to listen. I am so grateful that you have come into my life. And I often use the analogy of our lives as like a tapestry, that hangs in a museum, only ours is a living one. And that it's possible to weave a tapestry that only has a few colors in it, that offers no surprise, that it's kind of, you've seen one, you've seen them all. And I feel as if your presences in my life are part of what creates a tapestry for me that has flecks of gold and silver and radiance and deep jewel-like tones and dark mysterious colors. And I remember I have a friend, she's 98, and one time I asked her about something, thinking to dismiss it from my mind as not true. And she said, well, I don't do that. She said, everything I hear and everything I read is information. And if you would, I file that. And I keep learning, and I keep reading, and I keep exploring. And then I decide which information is more relevant than others. And this is the same woman who at 98 continues to see everyday experiences with wonder. And that's what I'm desiring for myself. That instead of being a jack of all trades, or instead of living my life a mile wide and an inch deep, or an inch wide and a mile deep, that I live all those facets of my life. And every experience that comes to me, that I can find gratitude and I can find wonder. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a glorious evening. The full moon is coming. And as I sit in my garden and it's changing from the abundance of spring to the kind of in-between of summer, I walked out today and found it filled with surprises. Plants that didn't have blossoms on them yesterday, but they have them today. And all through my garden, the bees and the hummingbirds are busy. And they model for me celebrating that abundance of life in all of its facets. So I invite you all to look at your life and celebrate whatever it is you choose to do, that you do it with gratitude, that you view life, even the littlest ordinary things, with the fresh eyes of wonder, and that you dedicate yourself to a journey that has no end.